Started. Everybody good? Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about a topic that can be confusing. At least it can be for me. So I don't want to say that for everybody else, but sometimes the topic of supplements can be overwhelming. Does anyone else find this to be somewhat overwhelming? I don't know what to take, how much to take, what to do. There's so many different brands on the market. It's just a lot of information. And as I was going through this and studying what I've always said this, it's always funny how the element you get assigned is probably the one you need the most. So I have actually started putting things in my Amazon cart. My husband will be so happy about that. But, you know, I've started putting vitamins and going through and figuring out, what do I actually need as I was studying this? So I am going to share my screen and we are going to get started. Here we go. Okay. Do you need to supplement? That is the question. And I think this could be, could go a couple of different ways, but I love what Dr. Anderson says. He says, I agree that you don't need vitamins and that they are a waste of money, but only if you eat wild, fresh, whole, organic, local, non-genetically modified food grown in virgin mineral and nutrient-rich soils and not transported across vast distances and stored for months before eaten. It is true only if you work and live outside, breathe only fresh, unpolluted air, drink only pure, clean water, sleep 9 hours a night, move your body every day, and are free from chronic stressors and exposures to environmental toxins. Then you don't need vitamins. Whew. Okay, I'm pretty sure that only describes like no one on the planet. So the answer to that is yes, you need supplements because no one lives in the environment like that. Okay, so yes. And I think it's interesting that he said for the first time in history, 55% of all insured Americans are taking prescription medications regularly for chronic health problems such as high blood pressure and cholesterol, problems often linked to heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. And on average, they take 4 medications. That is staggering. 55% of people. Okay, is there anyone in here who has been on medication, but by changing your nutrition has able to get off medications? Put a 1 in the chat if you have been able to come off at least 1 medication since being on program. And I can't see the chat, so hopefully Kelly can check that for me. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I know I have, by the way. Okay, so here is what we're going to be talking about. And that is learn why supplementation is important and how it can work for you. I think somebody might be off mute. Okay. We're going to understand our body's changing needs to help you learn how to adapt as you work towards optimal health and create an individualized targeted plan for better balance and optimal living. Okay. I love Dr. Anderson's words. I mean, when it's kind of like when you read the Bible and it's the red letters and it's what Jesus says, like I tend to pay attention to that. And whenever we go to the habits of health and it has his little page where he says something, I usually pay attention to that. So he says, taking some extra nutrients to make up for a deficient diet is an important part of health maintenance. I can't really read this because, hang on a second. Let me get this up here. Move. There we go. Part of health maintenance, but nutrients can do much more by providing us with a premium fuel that can actually enhance cellular and organ function. Okay, so potential benefits of supplementation. It improves overall health. It prevents nutrient deficiencies, It reduces inflammation. It supports digestive health. It supports a healthy immune system, and it helps manage certain health conditions. So we're going to talk about a few of these. All right. One of the things we're going to talk about is reducing inflammation. Last week, Craig shared all about inflammation and different things that we can do for anti-inflammation. Well, there are certain things that we can take, and he talks about an anti-inflammatory package. And what he recommends is that there's a certain blood test that you can take. And he breaks it down into 3 different levels, that if it's over 3, between 1 and 3, or less than 1, and then he gives you a plan based on where that marker is. So the blood test is simply a marker that speaks to your inflammation and whether you are having a lot of inflammation. I know for me, that was something I suffered terribly with before program. And here's the thing, you're never going to be cured of inflammation, but you can douse the flames. And that's what we're looking to do, especially for those of us that struggle with, I would say that maybe predisposition to, or genetics, whatever it may be, to having higher inflammation. So he does give you a certain protocol, if you want to call that, for inflammation. Then there's also digestive health that he talks about. And in digestive health, he talks about probiotics and prebiotics and the difference between the two. I don't know if that's something that can be confusing to you. In the past, that was something very confusing, and all of that. It's just, there's so much information out there. It can be overwhelming. And I love how he narrows this down. And what he says is that 90% of all diseases can be traced back to the gut and the health of the microbiome, which is that's what your gut is made up of. And so he talks about prebiotics and probiotics and why you need both of them. And he says that probiotics are not the same thing as prebiotics. Probiotics add helpful bacteria to your digestive system, and prebiotics contain non-digestible food ingredients that selectively stimulate the growth and activity of beneficial microorganisms that are already in your colon. When prebiotics and probiotics are mixed together, they form yet another type of substance called a symbiotic. I don't know if anybody is a science teacher in here, but they should be teaching this. There's a lot of big words. Now, I was a teacher, but some of this stuff, I am like, when he started talking about phytonutrients, antioxidants, it literally, this has been like, I feel like I've been in science class, you guys. But it's been good. It's been good. Okay. And so the other thing, like he talks about health conditions could be like heart disease. He even talks about what to do with heart disease. And he talks about that being really, you need to be taking a vitamin B complex. Whew, this is a lot, you guys. Now, optimal health. Look here, put in the chat which step you are on. Step number 1, maybe you're about to start plan. You haven't started yet, you're about to. Maybe tomorrow's your start date or next Monday, whatever it may be. So maybe you're in step 1. Step 2, you've started program and you're working towards reaching your goal weight. That would be step 2. Step 3, you've reached your goal weight and now you're transitioning to healthy eating. Step 4, you are living the habits of health. You have transitioned, you're eating healthy, you are doing wonderful. You're even starting to add exercise. So, because remember, our habits of health, exercises, our healthy movement is included in there, sleep, reducing your stress, all of those things. Step number 5, optimizing health for your age. I would say that's where I am. I'm 52 and optimizing health for my age is when that's going to look different than someone who's 32. And then step 6 is the potential to live a longer, healthier life. And that's where that is our goal, would be at step 6. But put in the chat which step you are on. So again, for me, 4 years in, I am at step 5. Now, occasionally I might have to go back down to number 2 for a little bit after vacation or something, and then work my way back up again. So every now and then, is there anyone that can say they've been at 5, but every now and then they have to make a bump down to number 2 and get back on a pretty strict 5-1 before working their way back up again? I don't know if that's been you, but I've definitely had to do that a couple times. Okay. So the optimal health journey. If you look here,
I'm almost done, so just turned off the big one if you didn't notice.
So I think, yeah, okay. Here is birth, 50 years and 100 years. Okay, I am here. I'm 52, somewhere around in there. So when I started, I was this age, but I was probably down in here somewhere. Okay, so this is optimal health. If you follow this green line, that's what he's saying is, you're going to have your ups and downs, and maybe it goes down a little bit the older you get. But this is where I was on the path to right here. Okay, I was on the disease path. I was not diabetic, but I would say I was on my way there. Definitely filled with inflammation, joint pain, all the things. So I was in this non-sick. I was not all the way to the sick, but I was in this non-sick stage. But through proper nutrition, following plan, I was able to bump back up to here. So I love this and what it represents. And so the line that turns orange and then red represents the lifeline of those who remain passive to the daily insults and attacks of our obesogenic world. Their optimal health quickly becomes a state of non-sickness. They are overweight, have a poor diet, or in a state of sarcopenia, which is flabby, weak muscles, insomnia, overstressed, and a higher state of inflammation. That was definitely me, which decays to disease over time. So that was me. Anybody else that was on this line here? I tell you what, staying true to plan, having community, leaning into my coach, and making the healthy choices to get back on this line has changed the trajectory of my life. And that's what it has the potential to do. So I hope that you are committed to moving from here to here. But of course, maybe some of you are over here. You may not be over here where I am. Okay, so now let's talk one of my favorite subjects, medications versus nutritional supplements. All right, I'm telling you, we have to read what he says because this was, gotta find the right, I'm working on both my books. Okay. Nutrients are very different from the medications that today's medical delivery system relies on to treat disease. Most medications become problematic, first because they interrupt normal body function, and second, because they cause a large number of secondary side effects. Medications have their uses, but creating health is not one of them. Let me say that again. I wish we could scream this from the mountaintops. Medications have their uses, but creating health is not one of them. Nutrients, on the other hand, are great facilitators. They may take a bit more time to create an effect, but since they're already present in the body, they're extremely safe. They can help you create a thriving, healthy life and augment the health of every cell and organ in your body. They're the very fuel of optimal health. And I'm going to tell you right now why we are so tempted to go medication versus nutrients. It's because it says it right here. They may take a bit more time. We are addicted to instant gratification. But instant gratification, my mom always said, anything that's worth having may take a little longer, or, it doesn't come easy. And so I think that's true in this case as well. Okay, so medications are often linked to chronic health problems like heart disease and diabetes, which we've talked about can be, except for type 1, type 2 can be turned around with the proper nutrition. They can cause secondary side effects. Nutrients already present in the body, and they will fuel optimal health. It just may take a little longer. All right, supplements versus whole foods. Obviously, whole foods are ideal. And he goes through that in your book. If you will refer to element 21, he goes through that. He tells you where you can get vitamin E, where you can get vitamin A. He tells you all of that. However, we also talked about that at the beginning, that the way in which our food is produced, grown, transported, you're never going to be able to get all the supplement, all the nutrition that you need just strictly, even from whole foods. So there's that reality. So it's going to be beneficial. Okay, so his supplement guidelines, and this is on page 453 to 456 in, when I say great detail, it's not a ton of reading. It's just exactly what you need to read through. It's, again, not that much information, but it will tell you what he means by fish oil, how much fish oil, a daily multivitamin, B complex vitamins and other key vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, probiotics, and the anti-inflammatory package. And that, to me, like, once you get your blood work done, and I highly recommend going and having that done after reading this, that is, we always ask the question, what are you going to do at the end of this element? Mine is, I'm going to go and get that test done. So I highly recommend that. Okay. How do I know if I need to supplement? Think we've answered that question. Everybody needs to supplement. We all do. Which brand of dietary supplement should I purchase? He goes into that. He does not necessarily give you the brand as far as like use CVS brand. But he tells you like it should be water soluble or that kind of thing. And so you can look for those specifications as you are looking for the correct brand of supplements. Okay, so what action are you going to take as a result of this element? Me, I'm going to get that inflammation test done. So that's what I'm doing. And then, of course, as I said earlier, I've got my vitamins in my Amazon cart. So I will be ordering those as well. My husband loves when I say Amazon cart. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we have almost, how does 30 minutes go by so fast? I don't know. But before we end, did anybody have anything that they thought about after my the thing that does not come back to you? 4 things come not back: the spoken word, the sped arrow, time passed, and the neglected opportunity. For me, if you don't take this opportunity to learn about what nutrition can do for you, you can't get that back. So now you can always start now, but I can't get back what I was doing at 35. And I sure wish I didn't even know about it then, but I don't know that I took the opportunities presented in front of me. I took the easy way out and I drank all the sodas and all the things. So anyway, but one really great thing I wanted to tell you guys that I walked away with. First of all, I had no idea what a phytonutrient was, but a phytonutrient is produced by plants to protect them from infection, disease, and oxidation. Okay, so you break that down and it's polyphenols. Am I saying these words right? They're powerful antioxidants that have anti-cancer properties. And do you know where they're found? Ladies, dark chocolate. So see, is that not amazing? We can get our polyphenols from dark chocolate. Now, your coach is probably saying, okay, now let's be careful with that. But anyway, I thought that was great news as far as I was concerned. Man, that prevents cancer. All right. Now, I don't think I need the whole bag, but maybe a piece here and there is, going to be a good thing. So, I hope that makes your week to know that there are some things that absolutely are just delicious that are good for you in moderation. So yeah, exactly. That's worth cheering about, I think. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. It's been such a pleasure to be with you guys. It's been a little bit since I've been able to teach one of the elements, but I always love connecting with you guys in community. So we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.